So with that, like I said, Alex Bowman is out of the playoffs. Groundbreaking, I know. Um, Daniel Suarez is out. Kyle Larson's out. Austin Cindric is out, which leaves who in? It leaves Chase Elliott um, a lot of points above the cut line. Joey Logano second, Ross Chastain third, Christopher Bell fourth, William Byron fifth, Ryan Blaney sixth, Denny Hamlin seventh, Chase Briscoe eighth. And with that, I think this might be the most illegitimate final eight that we've ever seen.
Ironically, I think half of them are as like probably the most legitimate, and then the other half is just completely ridiculous.
Here's how I look at it. This having a lot of winners this year has been fun, but we've said it, the win and you're in is flawed. And I think that is getting exposed more than ever because you're kind of in a catch-22. You want to see parity, you want to see a lot of different guys up front winning races. But then you have this issue where, you have guys like Chase Briscoe making the final eight when he's done nothing all year long. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen him make a smart move all year. He could have had a couple, like 3 wins this year, or at least a couple extra top fives.
Yeah.
That he gave away just being stupid at Charlotte and Bristol.
Well, he did end up in the top 5 at Charlotte, but
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just it's frustrating because we gotta figure out how to cap. You gotta figure out how to cap off the playoffs and make sure you're getting the best guys. Like there's no Kevin Harvick should not have been eliminated in round 16. Kyle Busch shouldn't have been eliminated. Well, that's debatable. Kyle Busch kind of had a shit year. But, Kyle Larson should not be eliminated in round 12. Like, Daniel Suarez had a better year than, this. And maybe this is old hat, me bitching about it, but maybe it's just I've defended the playoffs just because I feel like a lot of people find it entertaining, but it's year after year after year, the bullshit becomes less and less tolerable.
Well, I would say the TV ratings would say that people do not find this very entertaining.
Well, exactly. I was about to say I'm interested to see the TV ratings for these final few races because, yeah, Chase Elliott's in there, but really, who else is in there that is a big name driver? That is who are the most popular drivers in the sport? Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch. Those are 4 big names.
I don't know who else would be close to that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We got a bunch of milquetoast guys in this final 8. Now, it's not a popularity contest, but there's something to be said. We need to here's my solution. I think I figured it out. You take the top 10 of points like we used to. Right?
Okay.
And you can still have this elimination style format. I'm for that. Right?
Why?
Listen to this. You still have the elimination style format. You can take the top 10 guys and you eliminate 2. Instead of 4, you eliminate 2. And you get down to that gets you down to your 4. And then, you can say whatever you want for the final 4. You take what I say a couple weeks ago, you take the playoff points that they've accrued through the playoffs and take that to Phoenix or whatever. But I think we gotta do a better job of making sure the guys that deserve to be there are there.
So I'm genuinely just curious. Why are you for eliminations?
Because ultimately, I think we all say we want the Winston Cup format back, but I feel you got to compromise. I mean, let's be realistic. Is NASCAR ever going to go away from this?
I'm not thinking so.
No, never. So
Which is
I'm trying to make the best out of a bad situation, I guess, or a
here's
unfavorable situation. I'll put it like that.
here's the thing is what you've stated and what we essentially have now with playoff points is overcomplicating the situation to attempt to get the same result. Now this year it's different because everything's turned up on its head. But you take last year for example, we went through all that bullshit to
For
get
Kyle Larson.
the same result.
Yeah.
And we lost TV viewership doing it. You're
Yeah.
overcomplicating it. This format is overly complicated. Anytime I've had to explain this to somebody, they've said, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah. And that's it kind of defeats the purpose of the format because the the purpose of the format was to make it like every other sport, to make it easier to understand. And I think part of the ratings dropped off are the illegitimacy of it. I think we can all agree on that. I think you've been bitching about it, saying that for years, and I've kind of been reluctant to say that because I understand the entertainment side of things and how that's supposed to be. But I think it's come to the point where we need to make it more legit, and we need to because I think it also does this. Truck and Xfinity definitely do not need to have the playoffs anymore.
No.
Cup, sure, whatever. Xfinity and Truck definitely don't, because one thing about the Truck and Xfinity series, they're development series. You want, and that argument you might say, well, they need to have the same format as Cup because that's what they're going to have to do. But I think we're diluting the amount of development and driver talent from this, because you're not building race car drivers that learn how to be consistent, take care of their equipment, get to the end of these races and accrue points. You're grooming these guys to be like, win at all costs, drive like fucking morons so you can win a race, get in the playoffs, and then drive like morons and keep doing that to win more races to advance to the next round. And then that's how you get guys like Ross Chastain driving like fucking morons, which he's done better in the past couple weeks. But that's how you get these drivers. That's how you get the back half of the fucking truck field, which is absolutely bonkers fucking moronic. Like, that's how you get these drivers that just race like they're chickens with their head cut off. And I think that's something Xfinity Truck do not need to have a playoffs. 100% don't. I think they need to learn how to be consistently good race car drivers and how to take care of their equipment. And I think this format doesn't promote that. And when you get into Cup, all right, then you get into, all right, these are pressure-packed moments. You need to learn how to perform in those pressure-packed moments to be a Cup driver. And I feel like they're learning that aspect, but they're not learning how to be good race car drivers in a sense. If that makes any sense, what I was saying there.
No, I understand what you're saying. I think that's probably the part that pisses me off the most about this playoff format is it, above all else, encourages just the stupidest shit.
And who is it who's always pulling the stupidest shit? It's the guys who don't deserve to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
So, and when it is those guys that deserve to be there, they are devolving to the system.
Yeah.
Because they have to.
Well, it's like everybody, and I was sitting there earlier just now complaining that Allmendinger kind of runs people over. I get why he does it, because if he doesn't do it, he probably will get run over himself. That's
what I was saying. Yeah, exactly.
But I'm frustrated by it. I'm so and it's not just AJ. I'm just so sick of seeing it.
Eric Jones is also frustrated by it.
He should be, because Eric Jones doesn't run like that.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Chase Briscoe made comments about how wild the racing was at the end of the race. And Eric Jones commented on his his interview and said it's not hard to run over everyone. And then Brian Murphy, who works for Stewart Haas Racing and notoriously has he has very ice cold takes or very hot takes. Let's put it like that. He said, "Don't hate the player, hate the game." It's a fair argument. But then Eric Jones said the players should have respect for the game.
Yeah, that is something I've wondered for a long time. I don't understand why professional race car drivers are okay with this being the product that they put on.
No, I think they're getting more and more fed up with it. Like I said, I understand the entertainment aspect of it, and I almost think it would be more entertaining if it was the 10 best NASCAR Cup Series drivers who have been the 10 best all season long, week in and week out. These drivers would drive harder. I feel they would push more for wins and more for stage points. Well, okay.
Maybe not stage points.
I think they would
maybe not at a road course.
Stage wins. I don't think they would push. Maybe they won't push as hard to. I still think they push hard to get wins because it means so much.
Yeah.
I think these guys, you would see the top drivers in the sport push harder if they knew, okay, I'm going to go against the 10 best. I'm not going to go against Austin Cindric and Chase Briscoe, who win a race and run like dog shit most of the year. Not that I don't think that
it's a little unfair to Cindric, but the point is the same.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't think they ran like dog shit. I don't think nobody in the playoffs runs like dog shit. But compared to Chase Elliott, yeah, they have. So I mean, I think and then in the playoffs, hold on.
Yeah.
The racing would be ridiculous. Like you would have, you remember Brad Keselowski and Jimmy Johnson duking it out at Texas that one year? Yeah. They were driving the fuck out of those race cars, driving as hard as they can. You don't see that nowadays.
Well, you can't really do that half the time, but
you don't see it. And I think you would see it. And I'd love to see the 10 best drivers duking it out in a playoff format, winning your end. I would much rather see Kevin Harvick up against Kyle Busch to make the playoffs than Kevin Harvick up against, Chase Briscoe. It's not as entertaining to me because one, there's clearly one guy who probably should be there and clearly one guy who shouldn't. And also, you kind of know the level of respect that's going to be had between the two drivers. Now, obviously, your teammates, so maybe that wasn't the best example, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
From it. So I don't know. I've finally gotten to the point. I've tried to hold off long enough, but I'm finally getting to the point. It's like we need to fucking overhaul this format. Like I said, I'm clear the eliminations because I think if we did have the right drivers in there, it would be fucking entertaining as all hell, and it would be. I think we'd still get a legit champion out of it.
Let me be clear. This was the argument that I made when we were talking about Martin Truex Jr. This was the exact argument I made. In 6 weeks, you have come completely off your argument.
I have, yeah.
So what has changed, my guy?
What is
Chase Briscoe making the round of 8 is what changed your mind?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I'm not a Chase Briscoe fan by any means, but I don't hate the guy. But I've definitely, I don't know. It's frustrating because I feel like more this year than ever, we see guys that should be running for the. Kyle Larson is the greatest race car driver in the world.
He hasn't shown it this year.
He has not shown it this year. But he's definitely not a 12th place driver.
That's fair.
And I've made an ass out of myself making the argument that, well, you got to play to the format. You got to play to the format. You got to do it. And I've gotten to the point I'm done. I'm done playing to the format. I'd much rather be, that's kind of like Yeah, I don't know. We're getting into the
Here's the funny thing is that this is all essentially on as far as I can tell, this is all stemming from Chase Briscoe making the round of 8. I have still not noticed Chase Briscoe in this playoffs, except when he finished like 3rd at Texas. I'm still not sure how he did that, but that was like the only time this entire playoff that I've noticed the motherfucker. And here he is. I'm genuinely thinking he's going to make the round of 4 at this point.
I mean, dude, here's the thing. Chase Briscoe makes the round of 4. Where are we going for the last race? Going to Phoenix. Where did Chase Briscoe win?
I didn't even take that into account until right now. Phoenix.
Chase Briscoe makes this Final 4. Chase Briscoe could win this championship. This is like,
I almost.
Are you guys listening at home not realizing how fucking bananas this is? Like,
I'm beginning to hate this the more you talk.
Stop. Yeah. Anyway, on to Vegas. We're entering the round of 8. Who is your Final 4?
Who is my Final 4? Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain. No, wait, I can't do that. Joey Logano and Chase Briscoe.
What? You should name like 6.
Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Chase Briscoe.
Okay. I got Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell.
I feel like that's almost too predictable for the way this has gone.
Yes, but
mine is completely asinine, but that's because it's just the way this has gone.
I feel like we have a good balance of chaotic and neutral.